And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So a little bit to discuss in today's video. It's been quite a quiet few days for Celtic. Of course, you kind of seen a lot of the fallout from the weekend's game against Kilmarnock, where we really did struggle and performed really poorly again. A lot of backlash in terms of the players' performances, Brendan Rodgers as a manager and a coach, and of course the hierarchy at Celtic for the lack of solid transfers and investment in the team over the last few years, and it's all coming to a fold really as we are kind of capitulating towards the end of the season. So I want to discuss what a pundit had to say with regards to one of our Celtic players, who's actually been really good this season so far, but kind of fallen into some criticism in the last few games. And I also want to discuss Abada quickly before I get into that, because it's been mentioned that the agent of Lyle Abada is travelling to Glasgow in an effort to facilitate a move to the MLS for the player. The fee set by Celtic is problematic and they will not allow a loan. However, it remains possible he could indeed leave the club. Now, this isn't the most reliable source or report, because that's the reason why it's at the start of the video, because I'm not too sure how realistic it is that he might move to the MLS. For me, Abada is a player that should be playing top flight football in Europe. He should not be playing his football in America. It just seems very, very weird. He was linked to some championship clubs in the summertime and some low-end Premier League clubs as well. So for him now to be linked with a move to the MLS seems a bit bizarre. I don't think they'll be able to meet the financial demands that Celtic will want for Abada as well. It's a whole big shame, this whole situation. We discussed it in a video previously about him, and the fact that he probably will leave the club come the summertime at least, due to the complications with the fan base, the Green Brigade, and of course him getting told from Israeli people that he should leave Celtic and stuff like that. It's a shame. But I don't see him going to the MLS whatsoever. He's too good for that league, in my opinion. He's our second best winger at the club, so he deserves a move somewhere else. But obviously, I do like him to stay at the club, but it doesn't seem that will be a possibility at this moment in time. So let's discuss Matt O'Reilly, because he is falling to some criticism now from a Scottish pundit. So, of course, the weekend was very, very, very poor. And we discussed yesterday about Chris Sutton talking about the game and how Brendan Rodgers has failed to develop any players this season. I kind of chimed in saying Matt O'Reilly is probably the only player that he's actually helped develop this season to become a better player overall. Matt O'Reilly had a great start to his campaign, scoring abundance of goals and linked to a lot of top teams across Europe due to his brilliant performances. But now Michael Stewart believes that despite the 23-year-old being a quality player for Celtic, he is still lacking in other areas of his game. So Stewart said it's the personnel, not just the quality, but they don't have intense players. There isn't that quality. Even Matt O'Reilly, who's a top player, he's not an intense player. He's not somebody that's going to harass the opposition. He's not going to overpower them. He's a quality player, but he's not an intense player. And Celtic at the moment are lacking that intensity big time. To be fair, for all his flair, O'Reilly isn't a midfield general. He isn't a player that is going to offer you that dig in the middle of the park like Scott Brown or Victor Wanyama used to do. In fact, there are no players currently in this Celtic midfield right now. Even Callum McGregor, for the legend that he is and how hard he works at pressing, doesn't have that part of the game in him right now. Rodgers tried to address that with the addition of Kwon in the summer transfer window. But the South Korean failed to break into the Celtic first team, and if you think back to Ange Postecoglou as well, he tried to implement that as well in the transfer window by signing Iwata. But despite the Japanese impressing in the rare appearances that he gets, he also has failed to make it into the Hoops first team on a regular basis as well. So hopefully this issue can be addressed come the summertime, and we can get a player similar to the likes of Scott Brown and Wanyama in that midfield role. But Matt O'Reilly, obviously, he's not been great in the last few weeks, but overall he's had a great season, and I'm sure we can still demand a big fee for him, because it did look very likely that he will leave the club in the summertime, which is a shame. And hopefully the board can reinvest that money that we get for him into the team and really help to strengthen it. But that's, of course, a very rare possibility. But as always, let me know what you made of what we discussed in today's video. First of all about Abada, and now about O'Reilly and the criticism that he received from Stewart. As always, drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.